expressed it. I was an outlet. I sat there, I listened, I had an open dialogue with them, but yet I did not have the answers. So I look to you today, not to hey, I see you smiling. I'm not looking at you to fill the void that I couldn't do, but I had that young man here to listen to this panel for more input. I had that young man here because I care. It matters to me that an understanding is there, because when I hear numbness, I think back to the riots of '68. I think back to the murders in the '60s of the political figures that we witnessed on television that was given to us over and over, the violence of the Black Panthers, the riots, and how eventually in my own neighborhood, unsolved murders. On top of that, I developed that same numbness. We're talking back in the '60s. This is 2016. And I'm hearing a young man telling me he's numb. So I try to think of this intelligently. How can I really say things hasn't changed since 1969? Because as an overall statement, that wouldn't be true. It really wouldn't be true. But yet, there is a same effect that is, I'm not going to say just hitting our young, but it is definitely hitting them. But those of us that can reminisce, can think back and remember how we felt in terms of violence and racial, you gotta excuse me for a minute, because I really, really, really feel this topic, you know? I don't like it, and it's sad that I really wish I had an answer, like I said, but anyway, get back on my subject matter that I'm speaking on. How something can come from those many decades in the past to reach the present, and there's still no answer. It just leaves me speechless.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
All right. I didn't get the question, but I got the gist of it. If you want to ask me again, you can. If you want me to just go with what I know and what I feel. Great. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate the input that has been given with regard to this subject matter. I'd like to say a couple of things that I think are real key in all of this, and that is that there's a place on the planet that, just as in the time of Pharaoh and Moses, there's a place on the planet that would not be for us. And as much as we would try to make it for us and get mad when somebody says, you don't need to be here, no, we do. We did all that we did to build this. We did all that we did to make this place great. There's a place on the planet that's not for us. And we refer to this place in many circles. It's hell, it's Babylon, you know, the system and those people and the man, and we refer to it using all of these negative connotations, where at some point, wouldn't you expect out of hell, hellish things?
Right.
So if we're seeing our children being mowed down in the street, at some point we have to break, well, we keep on calling this what it is, and then we expect heaven out of hell. And as much as we might desire, we can look at the historical record and see that they couldn't get it back then. And when we look in Deuteronomy and we read how there's a people that would be sent across the water and they would go through the things that they've gone through, there's an instruction that's given to us that all we have to do is listen to the instruction. When we listen to the instruction, we get the protection. But most of us are still looking for protection from the same institutions that have been giving us these awful outcomes. They've been giving us these awful outcomes for 400 years, and we're still looking to them for a solution. And that's, at some level, that's not insanity. We've taken it to, we need to redefine that, because we keep on doing it. We say now that you're the one who are causing us all of this pain, suffering, and woe. Now you need to give me a solution. What?
Right.
And they benefit from giving us the problem and having to now supposedly create a process called the prison industrial complex, or the judicial system in the United States. They create the processes to generate then some flow from the problem that they created, and we meanwhile are getting these problems in and going to them and saying, please help us fix this problem that you created.
Right.
That's just crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. And then we have to understand again, if this land is the land of our captivity, if this land is the land of our suffering and woe, then at some point, if we want something better, we have to be bold, and we have to be unafraid, and we have to have the same faith that those back in the time of Egypt had, and say, you know what, let's go somewhere.
Right.
Because I've been some other places. And I've been those places, and it's a real nice environment. It might not have all the big shiny buildings and cars and all, but you got love, and you got peace, and you got warmth, and you got purpose, and you got people that will give you their last, and nobody's trying to hurt you. And I'm like, wow, does this exist? Can a place like this exist? Sure it does. And we have to now begin to follow these instructions, because there would come a time when we were supposed to make a move. And it would get so hot in Egypt, in the modern Egypt. It would get so hot, and it would be so painful, and it would be so wretched, and it would be lawless, and God wouldn't exist. We have to at some point recognize that we're getting to, or we're at that point, and it's time for us to make a move. And if we're not ready to make a move, then we've decided that all we're going to do is increase our tolerance level. And we're going to cause our children to suffer. Because our children are going to suffer without the capability that even we have. They're not going to have the capability that we have to endure this process. Our children are going to suffer because we didn't say, you know what? Baby, it's time to go. It's time to go. Let's put the stuff on our back and let's go. Refugees get up out of the land when it's crazy. And it's crazy. And I heard it mentioned earlier that, well, things have changed since the 60s and the 40s and the 50s. And, maybe it's not so blatant, maybe it's not so bad, maybe this is the worst time I've ever seen on the planet. And again, I heard earlier, we keep on looking at the distraction. Right. Meanwhile, over here, we're getting mowed down. That's right. And you all know that I speak on health and wellness, so you all know that diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, the list goes on, is mowing us down while we're over here screaming about, why did you shoot and kill him? Mm-hmm. And we're being preoccupied with the one, which deserves our attention, no doubt. But then it's 150, and in the little city that we live in, it's 150 of us that just got mowed down from the lifestyle that has been fed to us as a lifestyle that should be ours and we should embrace and it should be okay and it's the only thing we can afford. So we do that. We gotta wake up, man. We have to wake up. So I think we should not have expectations beyond Babylon on Babylon. Babylon is not supposed to give us anything but what Babylon has given us. And if we have expectations beyond that, then at some level, not only are we ignorant, not only are we insane, but at some point, it's a strong word, but I'm going to say it, at some point we're wicked.
Yeah.
Say it.
At some point we're wicked. We're now demanding of God, would you please make the devil to be righteous? Would you please make this man that has never demonstrated that he has a good bone in his body, and that's not just a color, but that's a mentality, and that's an experience that we've engaged in. At some point, we have to say, you know what, all right, enough is enough. Because when is enough enough? At this point, how many more? Because, there'll be another death tomorrow. There'll be a police officer that'll kill one of our sons tomorrow. And until we take the power back and say, you know what, it's time for us to go. And how are we going to then ever have the courage to step out if at the point when the fire is so hot as it is now that we still are saying, no, it's still better right here in the flesh pots of Egypt.
That's right.
I'm going to sit right here in this flesh pot because it's better here than over there. Please.
Dana, before I give you the mic, the young man, Peter, I'm going to ask you to come up, and I want you to share how you feel before we give the mic over to Dana. I hope you want to write down questions because there's a lot of information going on tonight. A lot of valuable information and a lot of insight to what's going on.
Cordless.
So I'm going to have you sit with us for a second. And as a young man, how old are you, Peter? 22 years old.
So as Rob said, he outside with a country church. Sitting there with the young man and myself, he asked the question what we felt about everything and the situation that's going on here today. For me, I know that I was to the current situation, the shooting and then the 5 cops that died afterwards. I really do commend the older generation for protecting us and sheltering us from the truths of the world while we were younger, because coming out now and seeing everything for ourselves, especially for me, I started my college career at Penn State, so being up in Pennsylvania in a predominantly white area, coming from Pt.2 County, it was unique for me. So I experienced my first real brush with racism there, and then that opened my eyes a lot. So we then I come back home and started hearing about more and more in the news, cops pushing their authority too far. And then it just happened over and over again. At the point, I just expected it. My friends themselves, they get mad, and a friend of mine, John, he brought up a good point when we were talking. This is just history repeating itself. We're getting the same issues and coming up with the same solutions, which isn't getting us anywhere. So, as a millennial or as a younger generation, we hear that we need proof. We don't believe that there's still racism in America. So, we come up and now we have these videos going out online, going viral. Everybody sees them. All right, now that that's happening, are we still just going to show these visuals? Are we still just going to keep shouting out that we're hurt and that we're pissed? What's next? What actions can we take? That's where I am now. These just keep happening, so what do we do now?
Let me just say something right quick. They are trying to hook up the computer thing to the speakers. I heard some key things in what Peter said. He thanked the older generation for hiding the truth. Unfortunately, that made us ignorant.
True.
Nothing that you hide that is considered the truth will allow you to be in a position where you can fight fairly, because you don't have the information that you need in order to fight intelligently, in order to, and when I say fight, I'm not talking about violent physical fighting. I'm talking about intellectually being able to rise above and position yourself to create change. For instance, a perfect example, now we're seeing a lot more young people move towards politics, right? That's a strategy. If we get the wrong people out of position and put the right people in position, are we going to get all of them? No, we're not. But if there's one voice in there, if there are 2 voices in there, if there are 3 voices in there, you can begin to build a community that will affect change. So when you become numb to something, you no longer are positioning yourself to create a strategy. So what we have done by hiding the truth is that we allow generations for generations to generations to generations, down to what we're seeing now, our babies that are being born. And they come in here a different breed. They come out fighting. They come out with attitude. They come out, I always say they've been here before. I never believed in reincarnation, but with this generation here, I do, because they've been here before. But like, I grew up in Southeast. I grew up around the corner from Woodland. So white people were scared to come in my neighborhood, okay? So I didn't grow up feeling inferior to white people. could be whatever I wanted to be. That whatever I set